Telling me that I can't control my life because Mercury is in
the microwave.
Mercury в retrograde is what my mom said. Like about 30 people messaged me saying that they thought it was my wedding.
Every time I hear the word peace talks, the veins in my head pop out a little bit.
In the last 3 years of war, Zelensky hasn't done a single thing to stop the war.
How many times are we going to keep trying to fit this whole Ukraine started this war bullshit that continues to I'm sorry, but did we miss the footage of the Russian tanks rolling in February of 22?
That basically effectively ends Putin's international isolation because the only time that he has traveled out of Russia during the full-scale invasion before that was to Mongolia.
It's like the court having the trial with the perpetrator, but the victim is not allowed to be there.
Rima.
Yes, ma'am.
What are we talking about today?
I would love to ask the same question again about what we're not talking about, because this week it's freaking everything. But first, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday, dear Yulia. Happy birthday to you. I'm so sorry I missed it.
It's okay.
I was working.
I'll take that excuse. I mean, you had an excuse. You had a real excuse.
True.
Yes, I did recently turn 29 for the third time. Mm-hmm. For the third year in a row.
Yep.
In fact, my birthday cake literally said happy 29th again.
Funny, mine's been 7 years in a row, so I completely understand.
I mean, I made my own birthday cake.
6 years, yeah.
Well, I didn't make it, but I ordered my own birthday cake because I'm just I'm sticking to this theme until I turn 40. And then when I turn 40, I turn 30. So for the next foreseeable future, however many years we have left till then, I'm 29.
Works for me. I'm in the same pattern myself, so totally works.
To be fair, I'm not even upset about aging, at all. It's more about the passage of time and the fact that I feel since COVID, since 2020, it's 5 years has just been stolen from me.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I mean, from everyone as well. But it's just a shitty thing to go through in your 20s.
Fair.
So
very
yeah,
fair.
Not too happy about that. But today's episode, I think, is going to be ADHD galore. Not that all of them are not, but
This one's actually here, there, everywhere. Jesus, what are we not talking about type thing.
This is literally if someone were to get a telescope and put it in our ears and look into our brain. I think this.
Yeah, they'd be like, "What is that?"
Yeah, that is a lot. So, little recap for everyone. Rima has just come back from training soldiers that don't want to learn medicine.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a lot for them, and they're just kind of I think the why is still kind of lost on them, especially because there's a pretty big language barrier. We're getting through it.
Oh, are you teaching? Wait, are they not English speaking?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Nope. Non-English speaking foreign soldiers.
Okay, news to me.
Yeah. So we have interpreters, but it's a slow slog. So and they've never encountered tactical medicine before.
Uh-huh.
So when you're trying to teach them something that they've never encountered and don't understand why it's important, you have to start from base level all the way. Hey, if you don't stop the bleeding, you're going to die. That's...
Oh, so first graders, you're teaching first graders medicine.
Grown ass men, first graders. Yes.
Cool. I mean, I realized this was going to be a very different and new experience to you because you normally teach people who come to you because they want to learn, not because their unit forces them to know how to save
It is a very different type of learning experience. So, yeah.
How are you liking it?
I'm fine. That little dog in the room in the chair where the fire is everywhere. This is fine. That's me right now. Well, and I'm not done yet. I still have a few more, courses to go for some of these. There's groups. There are groups.
Oh, so you're gonna have more first graders.
The migraine that's ensuing is never leaves.
Listen, if you have never been a prefect in college, this is basically in a dorm. This is kind of your opportunity. I feel that's what it feels like.
The phrase "herding cats" absolutely fits. It's really
I mean, listen, I've been going through my own personal like bit of hell. I think first of all, I recently hung up the phone on my best friend and my boyfriend in a 3-way phone call. I did put a pause there just in case, our OnlyFans ever becomes a thing.
Yeah.
But because if anyone knows me, they know that I absolutely do not care for zodiacs. I don't I'll entertain it as in my boyfriend sends me what type of medieval castle are you based on your zodiac sign, And Leo is always the ugliest one, but it's fine. That's fine. That's cool.
It's fine.
That I can live with. But then once someone starts imposing horoscopes on me, and telling me that I can't control my life because Mercury is
in the microwave.
In the Mercury v Metrograde is what my mom said. And I will never call it anything else because Mercury in Metrograde, basically, if someone doesn't know, there is this terrible shopping mall in Kyiv. It literally spans across all of the underground of Kyiv because Soviets built the city and there are no overpasses, as in you can't cross the street in most of the center, walking across the street. You have to go underneath, literally underground to cross the street. And so obviously, what do you do in the underground? You build a fucking shopping mall and it's impossible to get out of there. Anyways, it's called Metrograd, Metro City. Mm-hmm. And so, my friend calls it Mercury in Gatorade. You call it Mercury in microwave.
Yep.
We now call it Mercury in Metrograde because it's that makes sense. But anyways, I really don't like when people start telling me that things are happening in my life because of some out
the planets forces. Are not in alignment. Yeah. I know what you mean. I don't like it either.
Yeah, but so I had a really crap week last week. I hit my car. A handle fell off of the door that I already hit, so now I'm in for a very lovely service appointment. My dogs accidentally ripped my couch. Literally right under you, but you don't see it because there is cover. Maeve has been acting like a freaking demon. Turns out she's in heat. There were a lot of occurrences that I can't even remember right now, but I would come home every day and I would just be like, why? Right? Mm-hmm. And so at some point I decided to joke with my best friend and my boyfriend, who are both incredibly spiritual and believe in all of the retrogrades and all of this stuff, and energy and whatever, and which is fine. It's okay. It's fine. It's just for me, I don't like reading these things that predefine your fate, because then if something says oh, you're going to have a shitty day tomorrow, I'm going to have a shitty day tomorrow because I'm going to make it shitty.
About it. Yeah.
So if anything, I believe in manifestation. And so
That's true.
So I decided to joke and say that I'm going to get a red thread because I feel like someone cursed me. And I happened to say that in front of two of the most spiritual people.
Oh, dear God.
And so they literally, it felt like they ganged up on me, but it was because they just didn't understand. For me, there is nothing worse in life than to not be in control of your own life, because I lived in New York for 9 out of the 14 years. I was waiting for my immigration situation to straighten out. And it turned out to be 9 years, but from year one, I didn't know when it's going to end and when it's going to change. So I had no control over any of my circumstances. And for me, this is the worst thing that can happen. And so I was like, oh, haha, I'm going to go get a red thread because that's going to take off the curse of the whatever the heck is happening with the planets. And these two were like, no, you can't control it. Just give into it. It's going to suck until the 11th, and then it's going to get better on the 11th. And it was this whole, I don't know, it felt like it was an hour, but turns out it was a 10-minute conversation in which I legitimately, thought of shooting myself maybe 20 times because they both kept repeating, just let it go. Nothing's going to change. You can't control it. And I kept trying to say that you can't say this to me because this is giving me even more anxiety. So that was the the catalyst of my pre-birthday week. And I was like, but my birthday's on the 7th and I can't have it be shit till the 7th. Because, you only turn 29 3 times.
Once in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I have some people in my life who do the same thing, and I had to say that as well. I'm as an anxious person already, I am not anxious in my job, which is total chaos all the time. In fact, that is probably the only time that I'm ever calm. But in the quiet moments, and then in the moments where you're telling me, oh, you have no control because the planetary alignment and your horoscope, are saying, forget control. And so I sit there and I have the same problems as you do. And the bees in my head are so loud. Like it, and I'm like, and I've told my friends, I'm like, you cannot send me this stuff because I obsess. And like, it's
exactly.
And it's ridiculous because it's like, and I am never going to be the person that yucks somebody's yum. If you are a fan of this stuff, if you like it, if you're into the holistic wellness and like whatever, there's a line for that too, because these cortisol freaks that are on like Instagram, these wellness coaches, I think it's all a scam. But like in general, I hate that stuff. Like it's not, I don't like it. Like the little descriptors of like, our moods as like our horoscopes, like that's fine. Like,
Yeah, again, like I do like what type of mansion are you based on
yes, that's funny. What type of dragon would you have if you were,
yeah. Or like what type of food you are, or like what type of drink or like whatever you like. Those are fun.
Those are great.
But this is like the extent of it for me, because for my anxiety, it does no good.
No.
Like, no good.
There are already so many uncontrollable factors in my life right now. Being in the military, like you have no control really over,
your schedule,
your orders, your commands, like everything. Like, at that point, military life, it's like, no, you don't get to like go wherever you want. Like there is a chain of command. You have to inform things. You have to do things or whatever. And like, that's part of, the whole thing. So like, it's one of those situations where like, I can't have something else tell me I don't have control. So like, I completely understand. And I remember you saying last week, you're like, I had such a bad time. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. What can I do? Remember, I was like, I will send you matcha. Like, what can I do? And I like brought it to my nail appointment just in case you would be there.
Yeah. Before you were leaving, I was not a happy camper.
No,
I was having a day, a week, a month, a year.
You were having a month in a day.
Yeah, literally. I was just like, I had so much going on, but not everything was like terrible. To be fair, like the weekend before that, I had a it was the contrast. The contrast was awful because like we went to this wedding, right? Which was like a fantastic wedding. Which,
you
like,
had a great time.
Literally one of the nicest weddings I've ever been to. And the funniest thing is that like the dress code was like men in black and women in like white / like kind of like off-white
cream
stuff.
type
so
thing.
Obviously I was wearing like stone beige. And I posted a picture with my boyfriend on my close friend's story, and like about 30 people messaged me saying that they thought it was my wedding.
That's so funny.
Standing in front of the guest list with him, and he's like in a suit, and I'm in this like dress thing, and I'm like, no.
Well, see, anybody who knows you would know that that would not be the dress you wore to your wedding. But that's why I was like, that's but she's too fabulous for that. Also
because you knew that it was not.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, ain't no way. But like other people.
To be fair, the wedding was so good that it was deemed by my very non-wedding loving boyfriend to be the propaganda for getting married.
The propaganda?
No, it was like genuinely like such a good wedding. Like nothing went wrong. No one was stressed. Everyone was happy. Like Prosecco was flowing like a river because like literally, so this is my childhood friend and her fiance, and they drink Prosecco. Like anytime I visit them, I'll be like, oh, do you want me to get something? And they're like, oh, just Prosecco, right? And they just like constantly drink it on weekends. Like their entire family is just like a Prosecco family. And so it was very much reflected in their wedding. So everyone was very drunk, but good drunk.
Yeah, like bubble drunk. It's happy drunk.
Like no entertainment was needed because everyone was like already dancing.
Giggly, and dancing. Yep.
Which speaking of, I was like trying to avoid this, but Sasha insisted. Like there was the bouquet catching time, right? And I was like, nope. And she was like, Julia. And so she put me like right in the front row. And the funniest thing is like I was standing there like this, just like literally not even like I was like, yeah, I'm like, and this bouquet flipped into my hands.
Of course it did.
And I felt it. I just didn't clasp.
You were like,
yeah. And then it like flew by because like, I'm not getting married.
Yeah, you're like, nope.
Give it to someone who wants it, But then basically like a couple of days before the wedding, she messaged me and she was like, hey, what is your boyfriend's like age, occupation, and zodiac sign? And I'm
Jesus.
like, why? But anyway, so turns out it's because they did this like funny thing at the wedding where like all of the guys that are not married but have girlfriends were presented on the big screen with their pictures and their like age, occupation, and like whatever, like as like a joke to be like, oh, I mean, you're not married, right?
Oh my.
But so wait, I being
scandalous.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so you got my man's information from me so you could advertise him to other women at your wedding? Okay, cool.
What is this? It's like
but
wedding Tinder.
But to be fair, like when I was standing in this bouquet thing, right? Like he went to the bathroom and I turn around and there's this procession going on. And so I'm like texting him and I'm like, you better get here because I just had to stand in like the bouquet thing. So like there is the same thing, but for men going on now. So you have to be there. Like, you better freaking do this. And then I turn around and there are he's there and they're men lifting him on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And they're like dancing and I don't even know what's happening. And I'm just like,
oh dear God.
All right. Yeah. And then last weekend was my birthday. It was also very good.
See, you need the positive stuff. But like, and I think obviously eventually everything balances out, we have the very bad days to make the very good days seem a little bit better. And like that also like goes into, friendship. Like you call me and you tell me you're having a bad day. I'm going to be there in 5 seconds with like matcha and some sort of sweet thing to make it like less shitty. Like that's like, I don't think, this is something that's been revolving in my brain for like the last like couple of weeks is like how we view friendship in a war zone, in times of stress, in like how we rely on people and like how supportive they are. We talk a lot about like what it means to love someone unconditionally. And that also comes with friendship, and like, for me, it means like, no matter what happens in life, I will always support you. And like, that's like it. And even if it's something I don't like that you're doing, I'm going to tell you I don't like it, but I'm always going to support you if that's what you want. And I think like the same thing goes for like when we have our bad days. I can pick up the phone. I can say, hey, I'm having a bad day. So like, I've been thinking about that a lot lately.
Aww. Well, I also think that these...
Sorry, getting emotional here.
I would hug you.
There's a dog on me. We have a microphone in the way.
I'm afraid if I move, we're going to have a microphone situation.
We're going to have a situation. Bonk. But no, it's. I was thinking about that because like I had some disappointing situations where like I felt really unsupported. And I know that I would never want to be that friend that like made someone feel that they weren't supported because I, was doing something or they were doing something I didn't like. Like if it's something that's a problem with your safety, okay, obviously that's going to be different, but
intervention.
Right. That's a different story. But like if you follow a career path or if you're with someone or like whatever, as long as you are in the end stages or like at some point, if it makes you happy and this is what you want to do, then I'm going to be there.
Yeah. I also think these types of like the strong bonds and strong friendships form a lot faster here in a sense.
They do.
Because you also weed out people faster as well.
Definitely.
And it's like a very accelerated experience. Yeah. And I totally I very much agree with all of what you described friendship to be, because actually, and this is so funny and this is so stupid, but one of my ex-boyfriends we're very good friends with, and he's like, it is much better to be her friend than her boyfriend because at that point in my life, the guys that I dated, I was in college, right? I didn't necessarily...
Everybody's a little bit difficult in college. I'm difficult all the time, but
no, but I also didn't necessarily, I didn't take them seriously, right? No. But friends are it's you're either friend, family, or you're not.
It's just acquaintance. And I think that falls into the support role doesn't just go away. It's something that it's constant. And again, I think we forget what it means to love unconditionally, to support unconditionally. Like, I may not like what you do, but I still will love you through it unconditionally, and I will support you through it unconditionally. We can't put terms and conditions on friendship.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially here. Like, and it's something that, like, I've always said is, like, I will show up for you. Anyone. Like, if you need help, you know, I will pick up. If you pick up the phone, you say, hey, I'm in trouble. I will find a way to fix it.
Yeah.
Because out here we don't have, like, it's not easy to find the type of friendships that aren't superficial.
Yeah.
That aren't just like a face value or like an attachment because of an influencer following or something weird like that. And like true friendship is something. So I try to be as good of a friend as I possibly can.
Yeah, I like to think that I can be the call me on a random road trip type of friend, jump in the car and on 2 hour notice type of friend, and also like call me at 3 a.m. to bury a body type of friend.
Yeah, same. All right, guys, if you've watched this far, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, share all of our videos. And also, we have opportunities for membership. Membership brings exclusive content. Membership also helps us do all the cool stuff. So definitely do all the things that help promote this wonderful podcast.
I actually, and this is something that came to my mind literally during this podcast when you said like about friendships and like whatever. And I thought to myself, like, oh my God, like actually, you know, what's interesting is that like in Ukraine this year, I've received more flowers for my birthday than I ever have in my entire life because like the culture here is flowers, but also we used to talk about cultural differences quite a bit, right? So in the Western world, in most places, like I know that in France, that in the UK, in the US, right? Like if you're going to someone's birthday, you will likely bring like a small gift, but you will be like, if you go to a restaurant, it's like the person whose birthday it is, they don't pay.
Yeah.
Everyone else pays, right? But they choose the restaurant. So usually people will pick like the bougiest place on the planet because it's so on
because
time
they're not paying for it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've been to so many birthdays like that, it hurts. And here, you pay for your birthday. You pay for all of the guests at your birthday, but you get very nice presents. And you make wish lists.
It's true. My first birthday in Ukraine, though, nobody told me this. So like I'm in the restaurant and suddenly the bill shows up to me and I'm like, what is this? And like all these Ukrainians are like, yeah, just, you know, make sure you pay. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, and I'm like sitting there like, this is not what we do in America. In America, they pay our bill for the birthday. And I'm just looking at this and I'm going, okay. I mean, and of course, at that time, you know, at the first year of the war, everything was super cheap. So like for like 6 people, it was like less than the price of 2 back home. So I was like, okay.
You know, I mean, like, listen, my last birthday before this one that I actually celebrated in Ukraine because my last year I didn't do anything, right? Like was when I was actually 18. I was back home for the summer and I was 18. And well, my parents paid for the whole birthday, right? And I remember it was like at the sushi place and it was like all of my friends and stuff. So like, you know, I know that people pay for their own birthdays. I know that people bring gifts, but in that realm, it was like their parents bought me gifts and my parents paid for the dinner.
Oh,
right?
yeah. It was it's such
like,
a wild
in a
thing.
sense, so I'm used to American birthdays and like I invited people to my birthday and like whatever. And then my friends were like, do you have a wish list? And I'm like, a what? Because I feel so weird. You know, like, here's the thing. Like the things that are reasonable to put on a wish list, I don't necessarily need anyone to buy for me, right?
Yeah.
The things that are unreasonable, I don't feel reasonable putting on the wish list.
Right? You're like, I don't know if I can put that on there.
Yeah, but then I like remembered some of the wish lists of my friends and there were like things for $300-400 and I'm just like,
what is this?
What is this? Yeah.
Miss ma'am, my budget is not this big.
Yeah, I mean, like, it also obviously depends. It depends, like, who your friends are and, like, you know, what their possibilities are and, like,
Sure.
stuff. But yeah, I laughed. I giggled very hard when our mutual friend Ed and some other foreigners that were at my birthday who haven't lived in Ukraine that long messaged me after the dinner and were like, oh, yeah, by the way, how much do I owe you for my pasta? And I'm like, no.
In Ukraine.
I'm like, yeah, I messaged, like, I responded to him and I was like, no, I paid for the dinner. It's like, in Ukraine, you pay for your own birthday. And they were like, that's so fucked up.
Yeah, they're like, what do you mean you pay for your own? Like, it is absolutely true. Like, in the States, it would be like abhorrent. Like, at your own parties, like, you don't pay for anything. Like, that's just not how that goes. And it's like, you get gifts and they pay for dinner. So it's not like, it's not one or the other. So that's like, man, the culture shock was crazy for me that first year. I was like, holy, what do you, wait. I just remember the bill coming to me. I was like, huh? What? I'm sorry. I'm the birthday girl. Everybody pays for me. Like,
yeah, I think I remember that was a thing. And that was my like coming back to culture shock.
Yeah.
When we were at like my friend's birthday and I was trying to get all of the friends to like pay for the dinner to like do a nice like thing, and they were all like,
what? What?
Yeah,
No.
so I figured it's worth pointing out as a cultural difference because I don't think anyone ever mentions this, and this is like a good example,
It's wildly funny if you experience for the first time and no one tells you and you just are like, what the fuck? Like, you're just like, excuse me?
You're like searching for a fellow Westerner at the table.
You're like, can somebody explain? Like, wait, why are they giving me the bill? And that was like finally when like the one Ukrainian was like, you pay for your birthday in this country. I was like, oh, well, shit. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, at least like I'm happy, because like if you choose a place, you know what you can spend and you know what you can do for like your guests and like whatever, right? Because again, while I'm so happy to like spend a nice amount of money for a present for like close friends, I've been invited to like many a tens of birthdays of like random acquaintances that chose like Korean barbecue as their birthday destination. And then everyone had to pay like $100 each, and we were like all in college and 21, and I was like, girl,
ouch,
I don't even know you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna pass, but thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of Korean barbecue, I have actually tried a good one in Kyiv recently. I think it's called kimchi, I think.
Oh, nice.
It's actually not bad. I was very surprised. Pretty good.
But also, sorry for interruption. Last thing I want to say on this subject is like, you had a culture shock that you have to pay for your own birthday. I had a freaking culture shock when I went to, my first experience with this was I actually went to a super like wealthy dude's birthday in New York, and it was like my ex-boyfriend's friend. And it was like seafood towers, like all of this stuff, right?
So like literally something out of Gossip Girl.
Yeah, Rima, the bill came out to be $8,000 for the dinner, and it was like a restaurant downstairs from like a very like fancy club at the time. And I'm like, because I was thinking, like my boyfriend warned me that like everyone splits the like the person's dinner, and I was like, what? Why? But okay, sure. I thought maybe it's like, bougie people's thing. And then this bill came and I was like, I can't even afford to split this. Like, I don't have this much money. But then the boys started fighting that like the girls shouldn't pay. And then the boys were fighting how many ways to split this bill. And then one of them just put his like black Amex on the table and was like, don't be children, right? And I've never been so relieved in my life because on the one hand, I was like, how are you able to just put a card down for an $8,000 dinner and be upset that people are trying to split it instead of finding one person who'll just cover it? And on the other hand, thank God, because I was literally like, I was sitting at this dinner and in my head, I was like, that's like $1,000. Like that was like $700 before tip, right? If each. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, like that's half of my rent at the time. Like I don't have that money. Like I can't pay for this dinner. I'm like, no one warned me about seafood towers.
Yeah, I'm like, my brain is like trying to like wrap itself around this kind of situation where I'm just like, I don't know what I would have done. I would have like quietly found an exit and been like, I wasn't feeling well. Did something happen? Like,
speaking of wild segs and seafood and America, Alaska.
That was well done. You really like that. Wow. Like,
I mean, I think there was salmon in one of the main courses. So like,
you know what? It fits at some point. Like that just.
Dude, I watched the news this week, and like a friend of mine yesterday told me to just like to like close my phone and stop reading the news because I was getting so worked up.
Yeah, I had to tell my mom the same thing actually.
I'm sorry.
In the last 3 years of war, Zelensky hasn't done a single thing to stop the war.
Like,
how about the mud that stopped the tanks, the Russian tanks from getting to Kyiv, and they took the wrong highway? I was like, I'm sorry, if you mean mud made out of Ukrainian soldiers, then yes, the wrong highway. God.
Yeah. But I was like, no, dude, I was literally fuming and losing my mind because there are a couple of quotes that I can actually quote. So one of them being like, Zelensky hasn't done anything to stop the war. I mean, yes, he has. He's participated in every single bullshit round of negotiations that we know is not going to lead to anything.
Every time I hear the word peace talks, the veins in my head pop out a little bit.
Yeah, I have
twitches.
that like Hulk moment, you know, when he's like transforming from like human into like Hulk. My second favorite quote, I'm just gonna like, let's do a quote. Let's do like a quote Jeopardy or like a quote galore, right? So the second one was,
So Zelensky did not need permission to start a war and kill everybody, but suddenly he needs permission to cede territories and exchange territories.
in response to Zelensky saying that Ukraine's constitution forbids any territorial exchanges and there is not going to be anything like that, and that Trump doesn't have permission or anything to trade Ukrainian territories because it's a newsflash, he's not part of Ukraine in any way.
How many times are we going to keep trying to fit this whole Ukraine started this war bullshit that like continues to like, I'm sorry, but did we miss the footage of the Russian tanks rolling in February of 22? Were we asleep at the wheel? Like, I think Trump was probably busy doing God knows what. He was probably on the Epstein Island, really. That would be my guess, because he certainly wasn't paying attention. But like, the narrative that they push, it's all constant Russian disinformation and propaganda. They are perpetually peddling this by trying to say that Ukraine started this war when it was illegally invaded. I'm like, you can't wish something that never happened. There is footage. There is proof. It's not like you can sit there and say, oh, this didn't happen. It's not the 80s. You know, there's phones and media everywhere. You can't just say it didn't happen.
Well, at this point, like, no one's trying to peddle that, like, Russia didn't roll tanks into Ukraine, right? I think the issue is that they just find excuses as to why that happened all the time. But I think the larger issue with this, like, little Alaska outing is the fact that that basically effectively ends Putin's international isolation, because the only time that he has traveled out of Russia during the full-scale invasion before that was to Mongolia, which is actually a signatory to the ICC. But the thing is that we all knew that Mongolia is not going to arrest him because they're way too dependent on China. They're also like a weak geopolitically country, right? And militarily. So it would be like a political and social suicide for them, right? So no one expected them to do that. But now he's traveling to the U.S. Now, the U.S. obviously rescinded its signature to the ICC in 2003, I think.
Yeah.
But still, like, the U.S. is Ukraine's main ally, strongest militarily ally, right? And this gives Putin a bigger signal than anything that he is absolutely untouchable, because now he can travel internationally, not just to some, like, random countries, right? Or to the far eastern countries that are allied with him. He can travel to the US
without a
unpunished. Yeah.
And the secondary issue here too is the world, these two parties, if you will, continue to have this discussion without the, I hate this description, victim present to even give it. It's like it's like the court having the trial with the perpetrator, but the victim is not allowed to be there. And it's like this sham of a situation. And so like the voice of Ukraine is effectively cast out as unimportant. And it's like, and this is how I see it. It's Trump, you know, effectively saying, shut up, the adults are talking to Ukraine and you should be seen and not heard. Meanwhile, the adults are not accomplishing anything other than Putin is going to continue to play Trump like a fiddle.
Yeah, but also, like, dude, his demands. So, like, I'm gonna translate it in real time because it's in Ukrainian, but I just tried to find it because I saw this today, right? And it's like one of Putin's demands is to give Russia the rest of Donbass without a fight, as in, like, Russia didn't occupy. There's 30% of Donbass or Donetsk, well, Donbass, no, not Donetsk, Donbass, that is unoccupied by Russia. and they want Ukraine to surrender the rest of it without a fight. They want basically like the AFU so the Ukrainian army to come out of Donbass. Russia is going to come out of Sumy, Dnipropetrovsk, Kharkiv, and those regions, and the rest is going to stay the same. The line of fire, basically. Ukraine can join NATO, demilitarization of Ukraine, federal reform. Russia and the U.S. sign a two-way agreement without Europe and Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And if Zelensky disagrees, then the U.S. has to stop giving Kyiv aid and stop selling weapons to Ukraine or to Europe. And it's like, none of these are reasonable, and they got worse since the times before. They're just getting more and more delusional, and obviously this is not helping anyone but Russia. And the only reason that they're doing this, or this talk to begin with, is because they just want to show the world that they can get out scot-free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's for them, it's not a real negotiation. Like, they know this is a bullshit request.
Yeah.
They know no one's going to agree to this in their right mind, right? But what it does is it stretches time. It gives Putin the whole like, oh, I tried to negotiate with them hat. And they can continue doing what they're doing and pressuring Ukraine.
It is just a waste of time. Every time the subject of peace talks come up, I know that we're all just in for yet another week of will they, won't they? Is it going to accomplish anything? Are we what? And then like we get, you know, the group of foreigners that start freaking out and going, oh, do you think it's actually going to happen? You know, it's like clockwork on Reddit every time. And like the Legion subreddits, like the people that are thinking about coming over, they start freaking out. Well, if there's an actual peace deal, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first
what
read the
peace
room.
Deal?
Yeah, I was like, read the room. Like, what do you even tell me you don't understand geopolitics without telling me you don't understand geopolitics or Russia? Like, it's
no, I mean, like, anytime the thing is, like, the fact that we're having these peace talks is already a problem, because that just gives Putin what he wants, which is like recognition and a seat at the table.
I mean, I would not blame Zelensky at all if he just was like, this is a bullshit waste of my time. I'm not even going to entertain this, because we all know what the outcome is going to be. How many times are we going to do this? This is like, what, the 6th or 7th time?
Yeah, well, obviously Zelensky said that we're not going to take our troops out of Donbass.
Yeah,
this is not going to happen. But then this is so funny to me. Russia is ready to stop the war. Ukraine got this signal from Witkoff, at least for the first step, as in a ceasefire. This is the first signal like that from them. And that's what Zelensky said Witkoff told him. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, every time Putin or Russia talks to Witkoff is like a girl in love. You know, he's like one of those like girls whose hormones are like or like teenagers, not girls. Let's not be misogynistic. Because that's just not who we are.
No.
But it's like a teenager who had their crush, and the crush was like, I like you back.
Yeah.
Or said something they want to hear.
There's a photo of Witkoff like practically drooling when Putin walks in the room. And I was just like, every conservative from the past, from the 80s, from the Cold War, Ronald Reagan, they're all rolling in their grave. You know, don't call me like I can't call myself a conservative anymore. But like, you know, at the same time, I'm just sitting there going, you are a disgrace. Like, who grovels to Russia from America? This is what's always been against communist Russia in the United States. And now we've got this weird flip. And this is how I know that Russian propaganda is working.
But also here's like a social experiment, right? So let's say, here's the thing. Giving up territories to Russia and saying no to a NATO membership, freezing the lines of fire, and generally having ceasefire in Russia's terms is going to generate a more massive protest, obviously, in Ukraine than what happened with Nabu and Sap.
Oh, definitely.
Like, social experiment. There are 3 Ukrainians in this room. Якщо би Зеленський погодився на умови того, що ми виводимо війська повністю з Донбасу, не поступаємо в НАТО і робимо федеральну реформу, хто би в цій кімнаті вийшов на протести? No, федеральна реформа, да. Everyone would. 3 out of 3. I mean, I would be there too. I would.
I would go. Like, I mean, that's not even. I'd be there, front row center in my uniform, going, "This is not what I fought for." Like,
Yeah.
that's not. I don't think anybody would. Yeah, that 100%.
Have you seen this on Twitter where like Trump said that around 80% of Ukrainians want one peace and end to the war?
Oh yeah,
but
I
like
saw that and scrolled right by because I knew it was.
But
crap.
like I've seen so many trolls like talking back to like people on
yeah.
Twitter and being like, "Oh, like most of your country wants to end this anyway." It's like, okay, out of context, my babe, my dude, my love. Yeah. Most of us do want the end of the war. Most of us do want peace, not on Russia's terms.
Yeah, not like this. Like that's fucked up. And
It's
but
like-
that's what these trolls do though. They sit there and they've been doing. So I posted about what's happening in Pokrovsk and like the lines being pushed and like. One, it's really weird to me that there are some Ukrainian accounts that are trying to downplay this, that they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just 5 to 10 Russians that broke through and are hiding in a basement. I'm sorry, that's 5 to 10 Russians too many across that line.
Yeah.
And that's one. I'm like, don't downplay something that is a critical problem right now. Not trying to be an alarmist, but it does mean that people have to move their asses and instead of just sitting there and, posting dumb shit on the internet. That's one. Two, my post went slightly viral, and in every second comment there is a Vatnik or a troll that's like, well, just give up. You guys are encircled. You're losing. Whatever.
Oh, of course.
Everything to demotivate, right? And like
Yeah.
make people who are reading it, and some of them are very convincing. They're now trying to take this like gentle approach.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fucked up.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of like those trolls that try to be like unbiased.
Yeah.
But they're
I don't-
biased,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like this,
But to the end of the war, like, sure, would I like missiles to stop flying and to, like, next to me? Would I like to not have to go to the bomb shelter because of drones? Yeah, I would, but not on these, like, crazy conditions. On the conditions of Russia GTFOing out of Ukraine,
Hell yeah.
being demilitarized and federally reformed.
Yes.
I feel like they need to kind of, like, shoot these in the mirror and then have them ricochet back.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I want to say like this week in general, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like there's not usually a lot of stuff happening in Ukraine in terms of like crime rates and crazy
Yeah.
stuff. These past 2 weeks, like dude, there was a professor in Lviv whose mom was killed and he was severely beaten. There was a woman in Odessa who was almost sexually assaulted on the street during broad daylight by some dude who was jerking off in the bushes, and then she saw him and started running away, and it was like a whole crazy video. There was this famous like theater actor whose girlfriend posted, and I'm not going to say allegations because media keeps saying allegations. It's not allegations. She posted proof and he actually admitted to having done so, but it was like domestic violence and like abuse. And he also sent like dick pics to a 15-year-old and asked her if she was like a virgin. And there's like that whole situation we can talk about like in our recording tomorrow, because I
Yeah.
have so much to say about this and about
you know how I feel
societal
about
response.
pedophiles, so they belong in a wood chipper.
Yeah, but also there's way more to it. And then there was that school, that like pet school that was like abusing animals. It's been like every headline I open, it's some like absolutely wild stuff that just doesn't happen in such proportions in this country.
I'm going to full circle something, and you're going to hate me for this, but it really sounds like Mercury's in the microwave. I'm sorry, I had to.
The microwave ended yesterday. It's done. It's cooked. It dinged. It dung. It dinged.
I'm sorry. The opportunity was too good. I was like, it sounds an awful lot like. But no, that's definitely nodding to other issues that are, I think, the psychological impact of the war is starting to show.
Oh yeah.
It's not like people can't put a can on it anymore. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
Like they're really struggling to like hide rage, trauma, other issues. Maybe it's just now it's just more on the surface and it could just be that these things were happening, but because the war has been such a central focus, everybody's
Yeah.
just been kind of like,
shoving them aside. Yeah. But also like these topics, especially like domestic violence, especially against women and things of that nature, are definitely being a lot more amplified now. And thankfully,
it's very important, especially in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, because we're definitely like not quite there yet.
No.
But with that said, I'm going to go kill Rima for the microwave stuff.
I love you.
I also need to go put a diaper on my dog because she is in heat and she's already...
Poor Maeve.
Her diapers are in the washing machine. You know why? Because she pooped in her diaper twice today. And I had to literally pick her up like this, like a baby, and insert her into the bathtub. And I felt like a mother. And you know what? I never want to smell that again.
No.
Because I don't want children. Part of why I don't want children is the dirty, poopy diapers.
Yeah, they're messy.
Did not sign up for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, I mean, hey, if you want to find out more about wherever life takes us next, you know what to do. Press all the buttons, share, like, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. And also, we do have a membership available, and it does help us expand our production, do all of these cool new videos and extra content, and also, of course, helps us fund our future ventures and helps us fund this podcast. It's made by 5 people. You just don't see 3 of them because they're hiding and not allowing us to dox them.
True. Very true. Become members too. Be members. We have exclusive content.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.